Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to be talking about the spell Time Stop. All right, now, having read the spell description, this is not you stop time and then, like, hit your enemy with 5 meteor swarms.
That'd be very silly. It's not quite that, but it is kind of almost that.
All right, so what does it do?
Okay, you stop time for everyone but yourself. No time passes for other creatures. Well, you take 1d4 plus 1 extra turns, during which you can use your actions and do whatever you like. Notably, you can do whatever you like, except the spell ends if one of your actions during this period or an effect you create during the period affects a creature other than you or an object you being worn or carried by someone else. In addition, the spell ends if you move to a place more than 1,000 feet from the location you cast it. So it's kind of like you stop time to do whatever buff prep, like supporty stuff you can to yourself, and then all at once it just kind of goes off. I envision this kind of like you become the ultimate wizard version of the kid from Home Alone, where you're just like setting a bunch of buckets above people's heads and you're putting like the marbles on the floor so they're gonna slip on them, and you're making the doorknob super hot. So the moment time resumes, everything collapses and does a bunch of stuff on them.
Yeah, but we got like, what, 8 seconds to do all that?
6. You get 12 to 30 some seconds to do all that, right? A couple of rounds.
You're not laying down all those micro machines.
No, not quite. But you are doing some nifty things, I think. This is a hard spell to talk about because like the practical use cases of it are like, I've personally never got to experience someone time stopping to do the banana stuff, right? Like I've only gotten 2 upper tier games. Those people were taking Wish. There was no reason to time stop for a lot of things. But there can be some really busted shenanigans to be done with it. And I like, it's just, we're going to require a little bit of forethought and some, basically it'll feel a lot like power gaming in order to make this work.
Oh, yeah, you have to. I mean, if you get a 9th level spell and you choose Time Stop, you've already put some thought into this.
You have to, yeah. Because like, if you are just taking a couple extra turns to be like, I cast haste on myself, and I draw my quarterstaff, and I drink a potion. Yeah, that's probably not where you want to be. It's not where a 9th level spell slot. You got to get a lot more juice out of it than that.
Now, you had in your review, I noticed you had a good idea with the delayed blast fireballs.
It's a great place to start.
That's kind of like my meteor swarm idea.
Yeah, honestly,
but you can actually do it.
They go hand in hand, right? Like whenever you want to do time stop, the first thing you should be doing, because time stop is not a concentration spell. So once it's happening, which frankly, thank goodness, because if it was a concentration spell, I'm pretty sure this would be uncastable. But because it's not a concentration spell, you can still get a concentration slot to do stuff with. And when that thing is a delayed blast fireball, as one of the things that you are doing, you can basically like juice a bunch of extra damage the moment the time stop ends, because you can just I end the time stop with a delayed blast fireball explosion, right? So it's kind of like the first thing that you would want to be setting up whenever you're doing the time stop, and probably like the easiest first place to be like, okay, how do I make this good? Delayed blast fireball plus other things.
I didn't realize delayed blast fireball was concentration. That takes a little bit of a window. Yeah, that's too bad.
It'd be really fun if you could.
Yeah.
And still probably not as good as something like Meteor Rain, but it's still quite good. You also have to consider, like, there are going to be, the spell will be substantially better in dynamic environments, meaning environments that have interactable objects and things that you want to touch on the map. Like, they're magic items that have interesting activations. It's going to be better when you have meaningful locations that you want to get to, because this is kind of like teleporting. It's kind of like moving super duper fast, as well as taking a bunch of free actions. So like, you can, if you can start, like, enter time stop, round 1 delayed blast fireball, round 2 move dash, round 3 activate the thing, delayed blast fireball goes off, and there's just cacophony of outbursts. It's pretty good. Worst case scenario, what you can do is set up a delayed blast fireball the moment this thing starts, move to where you want to be, and then cast fireball.
Right.
And then you have
that layer
gigantic explosion. This then becomes like a worse meteor rain, but lets you move. Fine.
Or hell, just cast meteor rain.
Yeah, and that is you just cast meteor swarm. Yeah. It is tricky again, like I said prior. This is something that you're really going to want different aspects and elements of things that you can activate that will have delayed responses. There aren't many of those, but there are some nifty builds that I'm sure exist that you can do some degenerate nonsense.
I really like the image of, some big badass, thinking he's got the upper hand. All of a sudden, he finds himself engulfed in a fireball while meteors are raining down on him.
Yeah, it'd be pretty sweet. If you have like any like rings of spell restoring or anything like that, this could be a really easy way to be like, I time stop, delayed blast fireball, and then also meteor rain or meteor swarm, and then you're doing overkill damage. All in all, I think the average table, this spell will be quite bad. The min-maxi tables, I would expect this spell is absurd. The delayed blast fireball plus other damaging giant 8th level spells, pretty good. That's a great floor to start with, and that's kind of what you can conceive this as. Every spell can't be meteor swarm. Every spell can't be doing 40d6 damage to everything around it. And time stop does it in a cool way where you kind of get to feel like you're the center of attention, you're the star of the show. Personally, I think it's not a very fun experience to the other people at the table because you're like, I take a turn, I take a turn, I take a turn, I take a turn. And on each of those turns, I have to think very hard and long about what exactly I want to be doing. And then you're going to have like 10 different instances. You're like, oh, wait, no, I can't do that if you're not prepared for it. And you're like, if I cast that, this ends, and I have to make sure I'm prepping this and that and whatever else. And everyone else is just on their phone, texting and hopping on their computers and playing a video game for like 20 minutes because it's going to take that long.
Two things to say about that. When they're pretty much the same thing. There's, I don't think there's going to be any like average tables with this spell.
Agreed.
When you take this spell, you were on the internet for like 4 hours last night learning how to get the most out of the spell.
Agreed.
And to that end, you are not going to take so long. Yeah. You know exactly what you're going to do with each of your turns, and yeah,
absolutely, that's what it should be. So yeah, I don't think I'm qualified to talk more about time stop because I don't know all those wacky degenerate builds. And Bob, I'm gonna have to guess that you don't either. We didn't spend the 4 hours checking to see what the nonsense is. But I'm sure it's out there if you're looking for it. If you're playing at this kind of table, great. If you're playing like a big level 21 shot and you want to do some nonsense with time stop, go for it. Outside of that, if you're like an average person that's just like, I wonder if this spell's good, should I put it on my character sheet when I get here? The answer's probably not. The answer is you probably want to go with something a little bit simpler or something a little bit more powerful. Like, again, Meteor Swarm, like Wish is absurd. True Polymorph is bananas. And all those are a little bit more straightforward.
What about weird?
Weaponizing. Not weird. That's not it. That's the one you're not allowed to take. Like, rules is written, the first line of text should just be, this spell's uncastable. So...
I would like, since Sam and I didn't do all of that research, I'd like to hear from our viewers. Leave it in the comments. What are your time stop stories?
How do you break the spell in half? Let us know. It's got to be possible.
Oh, I'm just certain it is. I mean, the delayed blast fireball alone.
Yeah, minimum four is pretty good.
You got anything else to say about time stop?
Not really. It's just a bunch of extra turns. If you can use a bunch of insurance, great.
Got a rating?
This is probably a 4 out of 5. It's not nearly as busted as the other like really busted 5th level or 9th level spells, but it's if you're playing it to its max potential in those games, it's probably I would still hazard guess it's not more busted than Wish. It's not more busted than any other top end stuff. So it's definitely going to be good, but not nuts.
Yeah, I'm giving it a tentative 4 out of 5, but hoping into the comments, I'll they'll give me some 5 out of 5 comments.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to change my understanding of this.
All right, well, that was time stop. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for listening and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.